Right, there is a little shop down the road that I haven't been in yet, and I fancy going to have a nose, so let's go and do that now. This one here was 50p. This one is definitely my favourite, I think. And we got a free chair. Oh, I don't know though, does it get any better than Bambi? Good morning, welcome back to a new vlog. Today we're going to talk about charity shop shopping, thrifting, secondhand shopping, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be talking about it today. I want to nip into a charity shop to have a little wander around with you and also show you around our house some of the best things that we've bought secondhand for our home. Things that I look for, upcycling, repurposing, all that kind of thing. I want to talk to you about it today because it's something I really enjoy. It's I call it treasure hunting. Let me know if you like it too. Do you find it exciting? And where do you go for your best finds? Right, there is a little shop down the road that I haven't been in yet, and I fancy going to have a nose, so let's go and do that now.
I got you, you got me, we are two lucky. Emily, your name spells home since the day you were born. You have always known when I need you the most. Oh ho, oh ho. My best friend God sent my own good fortune. You know you are my double flame whisper, my soulmate sister. You know you are. I see you, you see me. Same mother, different eyes, but we're just as happy. Remember when you were 5, every day by my side.
So this is what I came away with. It's actually an IKEA plant pot. I think I might have one of these already. I paid £2 for it. Perfect kind of colour for me. I like anything quite neutral when it comes to plant pots, or greens and teals to match the house. It's a nice little size. I think one of the things to think about, it's not a bargain if you don't need it. Even though it might be super cheap, if you don't need it, you're wasting your money. I'm repotting lots of my plants at the moment. I've been doing sort of lots of cutting, so I'm in need of some more plant pots. So I was very happy with this find. I did find, was it just the one? I can't remember. I had a really good little shop, charity shop in the place where we used to live. It was absolutely full and everything was so cheap, but nothing was ever priced. So it was like potluck when you went to the till. I do prefer a price. This one here was 50p. I've often seen so many things in there. You know when you love something but you don't need it, lots of dishes, trifle dishes, bowls, that kind of thing, I'm always sucked in. But a plant pot, I know, is never going to go to waste. So that's been my little buy today. I did pick this cake stand up in a charity shop in Windsor once as well. I was so happy with this find, and I just so happened to find the cloche to go that matches perfectly with it in TK Maxx a few years later. I think that was something silly like £3, so that was a really good buy. You just never know what you're going to find, which for me is always part of the excitement. A lot of the time you go, you don't find anything, but it only just takes that one time when you find some real treasure. Right, whilst we're talking charity shops, let's go around and I'll show you some other things that I've picked up in charity shops. I love this Peter Pan and Wendy book. Isn't that beautiful? That was £5. My brother actually spotted that in the church charity shop where we used to live. For me, this was a real treasure. Can I do this with one hand? It's beautiful. One little tip actually, if ever you're somewhere and you're sightseeing, pop into little charity shops there. And it might be that you can actually find some kind of memorabilia or something. We were in Wells in Somerset and I happened to find a book, a history book about the town, which I was so chuffed with. It had like a glossy cover on. I've taken the cover off and that looks much nicer. But you might actually find some kind of like local souvenirs or something like that. You know what it's like? You might find like a pretty piece of ceramics or something. So it's worth popping into the little stores whenever you're out, maybe on day trips or on holidays or something like that. Whilst we're here actually, the globe was gifted to me by my friend Cheryl. She was having a clear out. And the map here was actually from the independent market. It's like an arts and crafts independent business market in Frome. It's an old map from Florida. £15, I love it. I don't know if I will get it framed actually. I quite like it like that. The plan was to get it framed, but I quite like that. I do actually, that's one thing I haven't got in the house here at the moment. I bought a map of America years ago from a charity shop. It wasn't actually a map, it was an atlas. It is the most beautiful atlas. I actually came home and I don't know why I did a search. I think maybe somebody commented on a YouTube video about the age of it, or have you seen how much they sell for? And I actually found them on eBay selling for over £100. I'd pulled out the American map and I'd used bits in journals, but I don't feel sad that I didn't sell it on. I love it so much and I've really used it well and it is treasured and I've still got lots of it left, but it's a big one. And I paid £3 for it. But I've taken one out there like orangey and teals. I don't know where the artwork is. We haven't got a lot of the artwork out yet. But it's beautiful. And I took out the map of the US and I actually framed it and I found a frame with some artwork in and the wood kind of matches the oranginess of the actual map. And it just goes really well, and that was on the wall in our old house. But yeah, I need to bring that in actually. We need to start putting some things like that up. This is one of my favourite charity shop finds. I love this mirror that's in our bedroom. I think I found this for about £20 in a charity shop near where we used to live. It was already quite rubbed down, it just needed some TLC, and I rubbed it down even more just to give it that kind of chippy look. It was only worn in places, whereas I've added to it, gave it a good clean up, and we've had this for probably over 10 years. I think this might be my all-time favourite charity shop find. I can't believe I found this. This was quite a few years ago. It's a real solid ceramic splash mountain frame. And again, I think I paid about £2 or £3 from this. It's actually from Disney. And it was just in our little local charity shop where I used to live. I love this, and even more so now that the ride doesn't exist. I'd imagine something like this would be worth something in the future as well, don't you think? Look, Walt Disney World. I am so pleased. This feels so treasured. And my daughter at the same time, she found a really old LP, a Disney LP as well. Those are really great, not just for listening to. We've only listened to it. But you can also hang LP covers as artwork. They look really good like that. So if ever you see, especially the vintage ones, this one was like from the 70s, anything like that can look really, really good as artwork. I would love to know, what is your most treasured thing that you've found secondhand? Where did you find it? What is it? How much was it? And what does it mean to you? This one is definitely my favorite, I think. In case you're new to my channel, by the way, welcome. I'm a crafter. I run a creative business from home and I have done for over 20 years. So crafting is really important to me, and I pick up quite a lot of my storage from secondhand places as well. What would this originally have been used for? I paid, I think 50p for this. I don't know. Would it have been used for accessories, makeup? I don't know. It's obviously supposed to be hung. Anyway, I saw it as stamp storage as soon as I saw it. I keep all my rubber stamps in there and I have them labelled. I don't use the reverse, but isn't that handy? I really, really love that. That was a great find. And I'm always on the lookout for little dishes. These were from a really sweet little charity shop in Eton in Windsor. It's no longer there, sadly. These were 50p each, and I bought some saucers as well, which are in my cupboard. Again, I just love having things out on display. For me, creative wise, if I've got things out, it reminds me to use them. If I put them in cupboards, I forget. So finding little dishes and bowls and things like that make me really, really happy. Whilst I'm in here, actually, I'll show you some other things that I found. So I have a huge love for old books. I love them so much. I recently went with a friend. There was a few of us actually from my creative community, and where one of our friends live, they've got this place called Aladdin's Cave. I had to think for a moment then. Everything in there is £1. We're doing another trip there in September. I cannot wait. And I bought this beautiful book, which I haven't turned into a journal yet. And if you're wondering what I mean by turning them into a journal, if you're not creative, here's one I made earlier. This exactly the same kind of book. It must have been from the same company, I'm guessing. Similar kind of artwork. And I've turned this one into a journal, and then I document our family stories in there. So that's what I mean by journaling inside them. Now, in case you're interested, I'll leave the link down below for my creative channel. I love doing things like that, and I'm always on the lookout for amazing new journals. The other place I tend to go, or books I should say, I'll show you some others. I bought this old Bambi book from eBay. eBay and World of Books are my usual go-to places for secondhand books online. Really cheap, delivery is usually free, and to be honest, I buy some from Amazon sometimes, the little golden books. They're really good, but I like the old vintage ones. It's the secondhand ones that make me happier. So this is my Bambi book, which I've added to. I've made the spine larger. And then I've been creating in this. It gets better. I don't know though, does it get any better than Bambi? One of the problems I have is sometimes I buy a book and I love it so much. This was the first one, I think, where this happened to me. I bought this. Disney on Parade. Isn't that beautiful? What year is it? I don't even know. Look at the artwork in that. I just love it. It smells old as well, you know, when a book has it was £1 originally, and it was 1972. I just love it. It just makes me so happy. I loved it so much that I couldn't create in that one. I had to buy a second that I could then turn into a journal. So this one is one of my American road trip journals. We went to St. Augustine, and then we did some Disney, so I've been creating in that. Doesn't that look lovely? Does that excite you as well? Does that make you happy? And I've got these three that are waiting to be used as well. We've got a nature one, a Fantasyland, and America, and I've got a yellow one that matches downstairs as well. And this was just a cover that a friend sent me, which I'm also using for a journal as well, an American road trip journal. I think it's such a lovely way to relove books. I love doing it so much. I always look out for craft supplies. I've just donated a massive bag of washi to my local charity shop. Jars, found some of those, anything like that, but always look out for creative things, bits and pieces in charity shops. Over the years, I've picked up ribbon, I've picked up threads, loads and loads of things, and think how you can repurpose it. Necklaces, old necklaces are so good to use for beads. I've got loads of these of my old ones, and then you can turn them into fancy charms and things like this. These are all bits and pieces, mostly from old necklaces. If you don't like the actual necklaces, you could remake them into necklaces and bracelets that you do like. Another good find of mine, I bought a huge, great big mirror. It's actually in the garage, we haven't put it up yet. And it had just like a goldy trim, but it was really kind of like antique-y looking. So I just put masking tape around the edge and sprayed it in the garden. Put silver spray, just a cheap I think it was a £1 tin from Poundland, and I turned it into silver, so I was really chuffed with that. I also want to show you a Facebook marketplace find. That's another place to really pick up good things. I'll insert a little clip of when we went to pick it up the other night. We've just picked something up on Facebook Marketplace, and it's absolutely pouring, and we can't get the chair in the boot properly. And we're worried it's chalk paint. We didn't want it to mark the seat. This weather is awful, isn't it? Why do we do these things?
I don't know. I'm soaked. You thought going to Morrison's?
Just literally came down, didn't it?
Yeah.
It really did. We found a really cute village though. And we got a free chair. And the house we collected it from was really, really nice. Wasn't she?
It was,
sweet?
yeah, she was lovely.
She was telling us all the different walks and things you can do in the pubs around here to go to.
Yeah.
It's really nice, but we're absolutely drenched. I am so happy. It came from a lovely home. And the best thing, it was free. I was after just a little chair for this little nook here. Next to our wardrobe area, it was empty. There was nothing there. But quite often, you kind of want to leave something on the side ready for the next day. I had my shower this morning and I laid out my clothes on there ready for when I got out. So it was quite nice. I was texting with a friend yesterday and I sat there. So it's, I'm really, really pleased with that. And I love the fact that it was being given away. I love also that it's not perfect. I like the chippy look. I was wondering about sanding it down just a little bit more, but I think I'm quite happy to leave it how it is. And that the cushion is an Anthropology cushion from our daughter. It was hers. She hasn't taken it with her. It's quite stained. It's got like lippy marks. I need to give it a bit of a rub, but it feels really delicate. So I think that one just needs a bit of a hand wash. But yeah, wasn't that a great find? So definitely look out for things that are free on Facebook Marketplace, or even things, a lot of the things don't actually cost that much. We've given away things for free before, when you just want to get a shot of something. So always have a little look. I'll show you some of the other things that we found on there as well. Do you remember this Facebook Marketplace find? I found this for £30. It was completely grey and looked really grubby. I managed to get the top off with nail polish remover and hand sanitizer and my cheese scraper, and I did it in the hallway, and I'm just so happy I didn't use anything else, just those three things. I cleaned up all the markings here are beautiful. I cleaned up the metal hinges and I rubbed it all down so that the original colour could come through. I did replace the little knobs. I bought those from TK Maxx. I am so happy how this came out. I really did rub all this down, as you can see. That was £30. I am so thrilled with that, and I think that goes really well. That's the kind of look that we're after in our new house. We love the new, but we want the little vintage bits here and there. So I was really pleased with that find. Sometimes when you're out looking for things or you're scrolling through online, you need to really have a think and kind of look out the box. You might see something, but you have to kind of think, how could it look? How could it look in a different colour? We've got a chest of drawers actually in our room at the moment that was my mum's, who gave to my brother, who gave to my sister, and now we've got it. It's a real creamy colour. It doesn't go. I think I'm going to paint it white. And just again kind of rub it down a bit for that chippy kind of look. So have a little think about how you can kind of like adapt things. The other one is in the office. This is another one that you may remember us picking up. I did actually do a little bit of an office makeover, so I'll leave a link to that video below. I have not touched this at all. It's got really cool sides, like peacocks, which unfortunately you can't really see. But I didn't even need to rub any of this down, and I certainly won't be painting it. I love it. I really love it. It's just so perfect for this office space, and that was also £30. Just like it was made for us. It really was. The other one that I was going to show you, the other places that are really fun to go and find secondhand things are places like vintage stores, markets, places like that. Do you remember I went to a place called Dovetail just outside of Frome last year? and I picked up this step ladder. It was actually Aid that spotted it. We paid £85 for this, so it's a little bit more pricey going to places like that, but they have overheads and they're proper businesses rather than finding it in little thrift shops and charity shops and that kind of thing. We absolutely fell in love with it. This was Aid's vision. He immediately thought of it by the front door. I know a lot of people thought we were crazy. A lot of people thought it needed a really good clean up, but that's what we love about it. We love it just the way it is. I have actually found another one since, a yellowy one. We did have it by the front door, but I wanted to grow some plants around it and they weren't really growing so well on there. We've put it in the garden and it looks really nice next to a bench that we bought, and we've put plants on it, but it's also nice to pop your tea on there when you're having a drink out there. So I really love it in the garden. It was actually a friend of mine that said that she has ladders in her garden. She kindly sent a photo with plants on and they look so lovely, so I was very inspired by that. That was something else I was going to say. When you're going to these kind of like antique places, have a look at how they kind of like lay their things out, style them, and gain inspiration from that. When I went to Dovetail, it was just so beautifully laid out and I just felt so inspired, and this is something I came home and did. She had a load of Ladybird books and I had a couple already, but then I went home actually and I ordered these from eBay, my favourite books from when I was little, and I've just popped them on there. I just love that little pop of colour that adds. Doesn't that look cool? I am so pleased with that. I just love that look so much. Oh, I picked up something else in that shop as well. I picked up the coffee tin. They did have other ones as well. I can't remember how much I paid for that, but I really loved it. Again, it's the colours. And she also had this really beautiful long basket, almost like a traditional one that you'd sort of carry your veg in. And she had it filled with green mason jars, glass ones from France. They are so beautiful and I keep thinking about them, and I keep thinking they'd look so nice on the top of my kitchen cupboards. I think about them a lot. The basket was 45 and the jars were between 25 and 30. So maybe I need to go and treat myself every now and then and buy a jar. I don't know, but I just wanted to share that with you. I hope you've enjoyed this. Another place actually that I really recommend you go to just before I finish, if you're ever in the area, is the Pack House in Farnham. That place is amazing. We've often picked up bits and pieces in there. It's a beautiful old, almost like barn that's been converted, and you know when you go up and you've got lots of little nooks and crannies, you've got the main part of the store, but you've also got lots of sellers as well within. So you might have somebody that specialises in books, you might have somebody that specialises in vintage toys, you might have somebody that does furniture. We always come away from there feeling so inspired. I could just spend hours in places like that. This is the part where I'm asking you now, where do you go? Where do you find places like that that excite you, that inspire you? I'd love to know any recommendations of either like secondhand places or vintage antique places. I'd love to know. Anything like that just makes me so happy. I love the thrill of treasure hunting. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I look forward to hearing from you as well, to hear where you find all your exciting bits and pieces. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.